at home with yourself. Being aligned is you being at home with yourself. The more at home you are with yourself, the more people feel at home around you. Or people say, you remind me of home. It's because they feel comfortable. Because I'm comfortable with me. I don't need any. I'm, once again, unassuming. Beyond need. I'm satisfied. I have no complaints about life and people. And I mean, once again, little superficial conversations, just for a laugh, we can get that off. Yeah, let me stuff some eggs in my pocket. I'm just trying to eat something. Yeah, we are alive. But once again, at the heart of the emotional body remains this sense of satisfaction. Beyond, once again, complaint. We're grateful for being alive. We're blessed and acknowledging the blessing of being alive. This is wealth. This is well-being. When you recognize that you're not here to chase no bag, you are the bag. I'm the bag. That's what I'm here for. To experience my abundance. I created this story. Here's the point. When you're surrounded by darkness, and you have this sense of recognition of your story, of everything happening for you beyond any resistance or you defending yourself of some enemy or what have you. When you're in this space of grace, acceptance, courage, confidence, and power, the most rewarding experiences you could possibly have will present themselves to you. At that moment of release, at that moment of acceptance, at that moment of acknowledgement, accountability, ownership. Regardless of everything going on outside, right? Which, once again, I have to make that perfectly clear. When that space of satisfaction and, surrender and confidence and grace and courage is acknowledged inside, that's when the magic happens. That's when the magic happens. That's when the beauty comes in. That's when miracles happen. When you observe all these distortions parading before you, attempting to knock you off keel. When all this stuff jump off, attempting to taunt you into these lower frequencies of doubt, confusion, fear, questioning yourself, analysis, attempting to change things, like when you can maintain your sense of presence, your sense of peace and confidence and knowing, conviction of who you are as the operator or the author of this story. This is when miracles take place. Because you're open, you're beyond expectation, you're unassuming. This is my story. And I'm going to choose to feel how I want to feel. And real talk, it ain't even necessarily about you having to choose a feeling. The truth is peace. Home is peace. You ain't got to be happy all the time. You ain't got to be in party mood or want to smile and love and light and this and all this stuff. You ain't got to do all that. Doesn't have to be your state. That does not have to be your state. To force happiness is just as superficial as you can get. That's as superficial as you can get. Talking from the bottom or the top of your throat. Hey, girl, and yeah, and the lights, and look, cut Mickey Mouse out and get out of there. Get Mickey Mouse out of there. That's as superficial as you can get. No, it's not. That's fake healing. That ain't it. It's about being able to come home. Home is peace. Once again, you don't have to be happy or sad about anything. You can just be peaceful about it. Just relax and observe the experience. Embrace the experience. Breathe. You can breathe in the experience and observe, knowing that all is happening on purpose. There's a purpose in everything. Peace serves you because it's the home of infinite intelligence. When you're peaceful amongst your experience, there's clarity as to the nature of the experience. There's hindsight. Sometimes things jump off that we don't necessarily immediately prefer. Like, I'm not necessarily feeling this. It's happening, but I'm not feeling it. What's going on? Well, once again, if we have peace, we can receive the insight that goes along with the experience, not for the purpose of trying to claw our way out of the experience, but to receive what's necessary for us to receive from the experience. We've seen it on purpose. On purpose. That means I'm being triggered on purpose. It's necessary for me to feel these feelings, to reflect on these feelings, these emotions, this experience. Why is this taking place and what's going on? What do I need to release? Why am I being triggered? You can always choose peace. This is where you benefit from the experience because you also honor the emotional body. You're honoring the emotional body by allowing the emotions to come up. But once again, recognizing that the emotions are temporary. This is why us attempting to be happy or sad or once again, all the time or feeling as if we need to be in an emotional state is unsustainable. That's not the truth of you. The emotions are temporary. The eternal you, the truth of you is peace, existence, being. You can be there and exist beyond having to identify with a particular emotion. You can let all those emotions go and just observe and be there. This is you grounding yourself. The only way for you to ground yourself is in returning to peace, to be in peace. So we talk all the time about the nature of grounding yourself is about getting out of your head and getting into your heart space. Peace resides here. Peace is always in the heart space. Peace is never in the mind. Because the mind is susceptible to all the radioactivity and fear and confusion and attacks and all the other kind of stuff amongst the environment, amongst the electromagnetic environment. That's why they call it psychological attacks. They don't call it heart attacks. No, it's psychological attacks because it's within the electromagnetic environment. When you're in the heart space, you can't be attacked psychologically because you know all this activity is all temporary. It has nothing to do with you. Suicidal thoughts, thoughts of confusion or ideas or pictures or stories that you tell yourself about what can happen or what bad can happen and so on and so forth. This is all mental activity. This has nothing to do with you. So when you're grounded, when you're in your heart space, you cannot be attacked. That's all mental. You can't play mind games on somebody who exists in the heart space. You can't. That's where all the mind games of the dark and all this emotional manipulation, that's where all that stuff come up short. Because it's all mental games and stories and suggestions and doubt and fear and trying to scare you and parade a bunch of images and testimonials. Once again, you cannot attack a person who's grounded because they're in the heart space. They realize all this talking, this mental images and all this other kind of stuff, these games, it has nothing to do with who I truly am. It has nothing to do with me because that's not where I live. You can only play mind games with the people who exist in their ego. People who exist in their only psychologically attack a person who exists in their psyche, who identify with their psyche. Oh, got you. That's all we talk about when we talk about reminders and remembering or forgetting and all the other kind of stuff. The only people who need reminders or forget and all the other kind of stuff is people who exist in their head. When you exist in the heart space, you don't need to be reminded of nothing. You know. There's only knowing here. You're always aware of yourself. You don't need to be reminded of anything or who you are and the nature of your experience or the illusions. I don't need to be reminded of nothing because I'm in the heart space. I'm grounded. That's why it's called grounding. That's why we keep talking about grounding yourself, meditation, getting out of your head. Once again, all this mental activity and talking and suggestions and movies and what could happen, doubt, fear, and anxiety and all this worried about this person, concerned about this, I'm thinking about this and what this. You don't exist here. All this stuff has nothing to do with you, who you are as God. And the more you practice being present and getting out of your head and doing your meditation exercises and being present and existing beyond all this linear stuff or entertaining thoughts and I think this, I think that, I had suicidal thoughts of this and I'm feeling depressed, I'm thinking about this, I don't know what's going, trying to figure things out. This is all mental activity. That's all mind stuff. And as long as you exist here, you're going to be susceptible to mind games. And they're going to keep playing them. They're going to keep playing. They're going to keep on playing mental games with you. Continuously. But as long as you exist up here, you're susceptible to them.